Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good evening, students. So previously we are discussing the mock exam of grade 9 and we have discussed about 12 questions. So we have to continue and solve the rest of the questions which is related with this your shortest exams, semester 1 exam. Okay. So this question number 10, previously we are discussing about the graph. So we just revise this thing that how we can draw this graph. So remember one thing. So whenever you draw this graph, so the first thing is we have to take along x component, always take x component along time, and y component you always take the position or distance. Okay. So we take the position along y component and x component we will take the time, and we have to we have to draw the graph and find the position time graph. Okay. Previously we discussed about it, and also we are discussing about the velocities, initial velocities and final velocity, uh, in which we are saying that if I want to find the initial velocity or the final velocity, so remember one thing, we take only these two components. Okay. So we take the time component and position component, and we know that for the equation of velocity is v is equal to change in distance divided by change in time. It depends on either you are taking x or either you are taking d. It's up to you. Okay. So for change in distance, we know that for the distance, so final distance is 2, initial distance is 0. So we just take down this 2 minus 0. And for the time, the final time is 1 and the initial time is 0. So just take down this 1 minus 0. So our velocity, initial velocity is 2 divided by 1. So this is my initial velocity, which is equal to 2 meter per second. Okay. So this is the method that you can find out the initial velocity. If I'm asking you to find the final velocity, for final velocity, you can take these two components. Okay. For final velocity, the equation is same. So F is the final. Okay. So VF is change in distance divided by change in time. Change in position is also same. Okay. So for final velocity, so VF is equal to what is the change in distance. So we know that the position is 34 and initial distance is 30. So we just take down this 34 minus 30 divided by the time is 10 minus 9. So just take down this 10 minus 9. So here VF is equal to 34 minus 30 is 4 and 1. So V final is 4 meter per second. Okay. So this is the method that you can find out the velocities. Remember one thing, if in your question, if they're asking you that we have the different values, for example, if it started from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So remember one thing, you take the initial velocity 3, not 0. But in this condition, we have the initial velocity 0. That's why I am taking this 0. But if the initial position or initial position is 3, or so you have to take the velocities like this, that V initial is equal to 4 minus 3. 4 minus 3, and the time is obviously 1 minus 0. We just take down this 1 minus 0. Okay. So this is the method that we can find out the velocities if the values is different. So this is a most important thing, and you have to know about it, how to find these velocities. Okay. And the second important thing, you see that here the initial velocity is 2 meter per second, and here the final velocity is 4 meter per second. Obviously the velocity is increased, so it's mean that it's accelerating. It's accelerating. But if the velocity is decreased, initial, for example, if the initial velocity is 2 meter per second, and if the final velocity is, for example, 1 meter per second, it's mean that the velocity is decreasing. So decreasing velocity mean it's deceleration. So, so you have to know about it, that where is the body is accelerating and where the body is decelerating. This is very important thing. So you have to know about it. Okay. Now we have to move further and solve the rest of the questions. Question number 13. Okay. But before we solving this, we just to remove all these things. So it will be good for this for learning. Okay, so just clean out all these things and just wait a minute. It's a little bit complicated question. I hope so you can understand this method. So remember, okay, the question here is okay. This is the diagram over here, and he is asking you to find the value of f. Okay, so this is the method that how you can find out the value of f. Okay, so for solving this value, first of all, we take the left hand side. This is my left hand, and this is my right hand. Okay, so it's up to you. Okay, so the first thing we have to find the value of left hand. Okay, so remember one thing, if I remove this force, 5 Newton force, so we see that and also if I remove this force in the unknown force, so we see that the 2 Newton force is in upward direction. If I apply the 2 Newton force, so we see that this body is moved in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, similarly, if I remove this 2 Newton force and if I also remove this independent force, unknown force, so we see that this force, this 5 Newton force, obviously in downward direction. So if it rotate, it will also rotate like a anti-clockwise. So I just write down this anti, and this is also my anti-clockwise. This is also my anti-clockwise. But if I remove this 5 Newton force and this 2 Newton force, and if I only take this unknown force, we see that this when the force is applied in downward direction, it will rotate like clockwise. Okay, so this is the most important thing you have to know about it, which one is anti-clockwise and which one is clockwise direction. To solving this question, the first important thing, you have to take the formula. Okay, so what is the formula of this? That is T anti-clockwise is equal to T clockwise. Okay, so this is the simplest formula that you can use to solve any type of question. Okay, so the first thing is, here the 5 Newton is anti-clockwise and the distance is 40 centimeter. So I just take this thing that 5 multiply by 40 centimeter. Now look at this, where is the anti-clockwise more forces? Okay, here you see that here 2 Newton is also anti-clockwise and the distance here is 35 centimeters. So just write down this 2 multiply by 35, okay, is equal to but for the clockwise direction, you see that we have only unknown force, which is F, and the distance here is 20 centimeters. So just write down this F multiply by 20 centimeter. Okay, now we have to find this value. You can easily find out this value. Okay, so 5 multiplied by 40 is approximately 200 plus 35 multiplied by 35 multiplied by 2 is equal to 70, which is equal to F multiplied by 20. Okay, so just solve this thing. So we have 270 is equal to F multiplied by 20. So what is the value of F? So F is equal to 270 divided by 20. 0 cancel out. So F is equal to 13.5 Newton. Okay, so this is the method that you can find out the force between them. So remember one thing, if in your exam, if the question is a little bit different like this, for example, if the question is here like this, that we have curriculum and this is my period. Okay, if the force here is, for example, 30 Newton, for example 30 Newton, and here the force is, for example, 10 Newton, and this is my force, which is, for example, unknown force. I just write down this here F, and he is asking you to find the value of F. And one thing is, say that this value here is 0.5, or I just take the simplest value, so you can easily find out this thing. Okay, I just take this value here is 5 centimeter. Okay, and I say that here the distance of 10 Newton force is, for example, 1 centimeter, and the unknown force, for example, here is, for example, 2 centimeter. So he's asking you to find the value of F. So how you can find the value of F? The simple method is, so we can see that the first thing is obviously we take the clockwise and anti-clockwise. So here the 30 Newton is, we see that the force here is in downward direction, which is anti-clockwise. Okay. But here the 10 Newton is obviously this direction. So this is my clockwise. And here F is obviously like this. So this is also my clockwise. Okay. Just put the value and you can get the answer. Okay. So similarly, the answer here is T anti-clockwise is equal to T clockwise. Okay. So here anti-clockwise, the force is 30 and the distance is 5 centimeter. So just write down this 30 multiplied by 5 is equal to, now we are talking about the clockwise direction. So the for clockwise direction, the force is 10 Newton. So just write down this 10 and the distance is obviously 1 centimeter. So just write down this 1 plus here the force is unknown. I don't know the value of this. So just write down this F multiply by the distance here is 2 centimeter. No, the distance from this point to this point, and this is, for example, 2 centimeter and this is 1 centimeter. So total distance is 3 centimeters. So just write down there 3. Okay, so just multiply this. So 30 multiplied by 5 is actually 150, and here is we have 10 plus the distance here is 3 times F. Okay, so just rearrange this thing. So 150 minus 10 is equal to 3 times F. So it's 140 is equal to 3 times F. So here F is equal to 140 divided by 3. So you can easily find out the value of F. Okay. So remember one thing, whenever you solve the question, the first important thing you have to know about it, which term is clockwise and which term is anti-clockwise. So this is very important thing to solve the questions related with this topic. Okay. So let's move apart and solve the rest of the questions. Question number 14. Okay. So move toward the question number 14 and solve this question. Okay, okay. Just remove this thing. Okay. Just to remove this thing. Sorry, sorry for this interruption. Okay. Okay. Let's move to the next question, and question number 14. And the question number 14 here is it's a simple question, obviously. The question here is a force of 12 Newton. Obviously, the force here is given, which is equal to 12 Newton, and acceleration is 1.9 centimeter per second. Okay, so acceleration is also given. Calculate the mass of the object. Okay, so how to find out the mass of this object? Okay, so obviously the force here is 125 Newton. Okay, but here the acceleration is 1.9 centimeter per second. If you are thinking that we just use this formula, F is equal to ma, here m is equal to F divided by a, we just put the value of F, which is equal to 125, and we just put the value of acceleration 1.9, and you can get the answer. It's wrong, because you see that here the acceleration is in the form of centimeter per second. So first thing is you have to convert a centimeter into meter. Okay, so the question is how you convert from centimeter to meter. So we see that acceleration is equal to 1.9 divided by 100 meter per second square. So now here the acceleration is a is equal to 0.19 0.1019 meter per second square. Okay, so this is your acceleration. Okay, so your acceleration is not 1.9 centimeter per second. So your acceleration is 0.019 meter per second square. Okay, so your formula here is mass is equal to force divided by acceleration. Here force is 125 Newton, and here acceleration is 0.019. So whenever you solve this question, so your answer here is your answer is 125 divided by 0.019, which is equal to 6578. 6579. Okay. So 6579 kilogram. Okay. So this is your exact answer. So remember one thing, you have to convert centimeter into meter. Okay. So this is your question number 14. Now we have to move question number 15. It's a multiple choice question and you have to find this question like this. Okay. So the question here is, okay, your question is, okay, just remove this thing. Okay, just wait for a minute. Okay, question number 15. Question number 15 is the graph of the mass and volume of the different several object, okay, which two have the same density. Okay, so your option is 2, 3, 1, 4, 2, 4, and 3, 4. Okay, so he's talking about it, which one have the same density. Okay, so for solving this question, so we know that the formula of density is obviously, the formula of density is mass per unit volume. Okay. The first thing is you have to mention the points. Okay. For example, we take that this is my 0, this is my 1, this is my 2. So here mass is 0, 1, and 2. Okay. First, we take the density of this point 1. So we see that the density of point 1 is, so we just write down this density of point 1. So here the mass is 2 and the volume is 1. So 2 divided by 1, which is equal to 2. Okay. So now we take the density of this point 2. So for the density of point 2, it's rho 2. So the mass is 2, but here the volume is also 2. So total density is 1. Okay. Now we take the density at point 3. Okay. So for density at point 3, it will be equal to, here the mass is 1 and volume is also 1. So 1 divided by 1, which is equal to 1. Okay. Now we take the density of 4. So density of 4 is equal to, here mass is 1, but the volume is 2. So it will be 1 by 2 because the volume here is 2, but the mass here is 1. So we see that here only two object, density of 2 and density of 3 is same. So your answer is 2 and 3. Okay, so this is your right answer. So this is the method that you can find out this question. Okay, now we have to move the next question and try to solve the next questions. Okay, so the next question here is, okay, so okay, question number 16. Okay, so question number 16 is a simplest question that he is talking about difference between a scalar and vector. So the definition of scalar is, for scalar, those quantities which have a magnitude with proper unit proper unit. Most of the students didn't write this proper unit because the unit is very important. So for example, if I'm taking the mass, so mass is always taking as 2 kg. Okay, so 2 is the magnitude and the kg is a unit, so you have to write down this 2 unit. Okay, or for example, if I'm taking time, this is also 2 second because 2 is a magnitude and second is a unit. So it's mean that if you just write down there only 2, what is this? Is this mass? Is this time? Is this distance? So it's mean that only 2 is meaningless. If I'm say that only magnitude, so it is meaningless. Okay, so we have to mention the proper unit. So that's why I'm just writing down this 2 second and 2 kilogram. The second thing is vector. So for vectors, those quantity which have a magnitude with proper direction and the direction, those quantities which have a magnitude with proper unit and have direction. Okay, so for remember one thing, for vector quantity you have to give the certain direction. For example, if I'm say that the force is 2 Newton, this is wrong because if I'm talking about the force, so you have to tell this that 2 Newton is along x component. Now this is right because here 2 is the magnitude, n is Newton is the unit, and x component is actually direction. So remember one thing, if we're talking about the vectors, so we have to know about its about unit, magnitude, and also about the direction. Okay, if they're asking about what is the simplest difference between scalar and vector, so you can say that scalar have no direction but vector have a direction, so your answer is also right. Okay, so this is the question number 16. Now we move towards the question number 17. So question number 17 here is, okay, here is a force of 100 Newton. Obviously, the force is given and 4 centimeter from the pivot. Okay, distance. We have to find the torque. We know the formula. So T is equal to R multiplied by F. But remember one thing here, the distance is in the form of centimeter. The first thing you have to convert centimeter into meter. Okay, so for converting centimeter into meter, we just write down this 4 divided by 100 meter. Okay, so which is equal to 0.04. Okay, meter. Okay, so this is my distance r. Okay, so just put the value. So T is equal to 0.04 multiplied by 100, and your answer here is 4 Newton meter. There is no 4 Newton meter here, so every question is wrong. Okay, so your answer actually is 4 Newton meter. So this is your answer. Okay, now we have to move apart and solve the question number 18. And question number 18 here is okay, question number 18. Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. Question number 18. Just to remove this thing. Okay. Wait. Okay. Calculate the torque produced by the two forces of magnitude 30 Newton. Obviously, the same question like this. So the force here is 30 Newton. So T F is equal to 30 Newton, and the distance here is 30 centimeters. So R is equal to 30 centimeter. The first thing is you have to convert centimeter into meter. So R is equal to 30 divided by 100 meter. So which is equal to 0.3 meter. Okay. Now we have to find the torque. So T is equal to R multiplied by F. So T is equal to, what is the value of R? So 0.3. And what is the value of force, which is equal to 30? So just multiply this thing and you can easily get the answer. But sorry, but remember one thing, your answer he need to in the form of centimeter. Okay. So don't need to convert meter into centimeter. Okay. So just remove this thing. Okay. Just my mistake, because you need the answer in the form of centimeter. So don't need to convert meter into centimeter. So here force is obviously 30 Newton, but here the distance obviously here in the form of 30 centimeter. So no need to convert this answer. Okay. So torque is T is equal to R multiplied by F. Okay. Here R is 30 and force is also 30. So it will be equal to 900 Newton centimeter. Okay. It's not Newton per centimeter, it's Newton centimeter. So this is a mistake also. So we have to move question number 19. Simplest way. Okay. Question number 19. Okay. Yes, Hooke's law. Question number 19, define Hooke's law. Its simplest definition, you already know about it. So the definition of Hooke's law is the force is directly proportional to the force is directly proportional to extension of the string. Extension of the spring. Okay. That is, F is directly proportional to X, or F is equal to Kx. Okay. Here F is the force and K is the spring constant. So we have to know about it. Okay. So this is the simplest definition. If you know any other definition which is written inside the book, you can write down this. But I just write down the simplest definition which you can everyone can understand and everyone can memorize this definition. Okay. So it's up to you. So you have to write any definition. So we have to move question number 20. Question number 20 is, okay, a simplest one. Question number 20 is, an object is accelerate from 5 to 25 meter per second in 4 seconds. Find the acceleration. Obviously, we know that acceleration is equal to change in velocity divided by change in time. So here the final velocity is 25 and initial velocity is 5, but change in time is obviously 4. So acceleration is 20 divided by 4, so which is equal to 5 uh, 5 5 meter per second square. So obviously the answer is wrong. So 5 meter per second is the actual answer of this question. Okay. Question number 21. An iron sphere of diameter 0.18 centimeter has the mass of 100 kilogram. Find the density. So remember one thing, we know the formula of density. Density is equal to mass per unit volume. Okay. So here the mass is 100 kg. Okay. And we know that the value of the volume is obviously V is equal to 4 divided by 3 pi r cube. So boys, remember one thing, we have to memorize these formulas because this formula is not given in your exam. So you have to memorize all these formulas. Okay. So here the diameter is 0.18 centimeters. So what is the radius? So obviously the radius is 0.18 divided by 2, so which is equal to 0.09. So 0.09. Okay. So here the volume here is 4 divided by 3. What is the value of pi, which is equal to 3.14? And what is the value of radius? So 0.09 cube. Okay, so just to find out this thing, so by using calculator you can easily find out the value of volume. After finding this value of volume, you can easily put the answer here and you can easily find out the density of the object. Okay, so this is the method that you can find out the densities. Okay, question number next question here is 22. Okay, so we have to move to the question number 22. Let's see what's our question here is. Question number 22. Yes, a spring required a force of load of 10 Newton to increase the length of 7 centimeter. What will be the load of extension of 12 centimeter? Okay, so the first thing is you have to know about it, which thing is given. The first thing is a spring required a load of 10 Newton to increase its length by 7 centimeters. So remember one thing here, F1 is equal to 10 Newton. So increase in length mean that X1 is equal to 7 centimeter. This is given. Okay. What load is given? It's mean that they are talking about F2. So you have to find the value of F2. Here the extension is 12 centimeters. So it's mean that X2 is 12 centimeter. Okay. So how to find this value? Okay, how to find this value? Okay, so the first thing is we have to know we have to draw the diagram. It's very important that he's talking this, that we have a spring like this. So this is my spring, and he said that here the weight is, for example, 10 Newton. Okay, 10 Newton, and he said that the length is obviously 7 centimeter. So it's mean that from here to here we have 7 centimeter. Now he said that we have to apply the another load. We have to apply the unknown load over here, and obviously it will increase. So obviously this is my 10 centimeter, 10 Newton, and we have to increase one more mass, which is obviously unknown. Okay, so here we have F2, we have unknown, and he said that now the length here is 12 centimeter. So here we have 12 centimeter length. Okay, he's asking you what is the value of F2, how to find the value of F2. Okay, so we know the formula, and the formula obviously we know that F is equal to K time X. Okay, so first of all, we have to know the value of K. Okay, so obviously K is equal to F divided by X. So here, first of all, we take the value of F, and X is, so K is equal to, what is the value of F? F1, obviously F1 and X1. And here F1 is obviously 10, and the value of X is 7 centimeter. Okay, so Newton per centimeter. So what is the value of K? So the value of K is 10 divided by 7. Just wait a minute. So 10 divided by 7, 1.42. So 1.4. Okay, so the value of K here is, so the value of K here is 1.4. Yes, this is a question. Value of K here is, K is 1.4 Newton per centimeter. Now we have to find the value of F2. Okay, so we know that F2 is equal to K time X2. Okay, so remember one thing, what value of X2 you are putting. If you are thinking that we have to put the value of X2 which is equal to 12 centimeters, so it's mean that it's wrong, because we have to put the value of change in distance. Okay, so here distance is, for example, 12 centimeter. Here distance is 7 centimeter. So change in distance is obviously 5 centimeter. Okay, so we have to put the value of X, which is 5 centimeter, and F obviously we unknown. So F is equal to K time X. So f is equal to, what is the value of k? So value of k is obviously 1.4, and the value of x is obviously 5. So if you solve this value, so 5 multiplied by 1.4, 5 multiplied by 1.4, which is equal to 7. So obviously the force is 7 Newton. Okay, so this is the method that you can find the value of force. Okay, so very important thing. Now we have to move question number 23. This is a very simple question. What is the difference between speed and velocity? Obviously, we know that speed doesn't have direction, but velocity have a direction. Speed is a scalar quantity and velocity is a vector quantity. So you don't need to solve this question. Okay. Question number 24. Little bit difficult one, but interesting one. Okay. So how to find the value of question number 24? Okay, question number 24 and question number 25. Let's see what happened. 24. Just look at this. Okay. Question number 24. A car is traveling north at the speed of 80 meter per second for 3 minutes. Okay, so he's taking that way. The car is traveling towards the north and its speed is 80 meter per second for 3 minutes. Then the car is traveling towards the east. Now they are moving towards the east. Okay, for 20 meter per second for 5 minutes. What is the total distance traveled by a car? So we have to know the total distance. Okay, so we know that the formula here is distance is equal to speed multiplied by time. Okay, so here I just write down this head d1. Okay, and this is for example d2. Okay, so just write down this d1. So d1 distance is, speed here is 80 and time here is 3 minutes. If we convert into second, it will be 180. Okay, because 60 multiplied by 3 is 180. So 80 multiplied by 180, it will be equal to 80 multiplied by 180, 14400. So it will be 14400. All right. Now they travel towards the at constant speed of 20 meter per second for 5 minutes. Okay. So obviously, so we have to find the d2. So d2 here is 20 multiplied by 5 minutes. So 5 multiplied by 6 is 30. It means 300. So just write down there 300. So it will be equal to 6,000. Uh, 6,000 obviously. So 6,000. So just add this thing. So d1 plus d2, which is equal to 14400 plus 6,000. So which is equal to 20,400 meter. Okay, so this is your exact answer. Obviously this answer is not given, but your answer is this one, for 20,400 meter, because we have to find the distance. Okay, now the last question is, find the ratio of circumference to the diameter of a circle. A very interesting question. So this is the actually very interesting, and you have to know about it. Okay, okay. So the question is circumference to diameter. Okay, so just solve this question and let's see what is the answer of this question. Okay, question number 25. Uh, first of all, we have to take the circle. This is my circle. Okay, and we know that this is my diameter. So my diameter here is 2 pi r. Okay, and sorry, circumference, this is my circumference, and this is my diameter. Obviously my diameter is equal to 2r. Okay, now the question is, find the ratio. This is ratio of circumference to the diameter. So obviously for ratio is equal to circumference divided by diameter. Okay, so here the circumference here is obviously circumference is 2 pi r, and the diameter obviously 2r. So r cancel, 2 cancel, so which is equal to pi. So remember one thing, this pi is actually, the definition of pi is the ratio of circumference to the diameter of the circle. Okay, so this is our mock exam. I hope so you can understand this. If you have any question, you can ask me. Okay, thank you very much.